Hey, what is happening, guys? I know my face is popping around here. I'm trying to get better with my editing stuff or my OBS. But I'm gonna start this off with the 10:30 update. I'm gonna play this part real quick. Going to be very reflexive in the near term. In the next few weeks, when we get downside, if we do, it's going to be like a rubber band snapping back into place. You might get one red session, and the following morning by 10:30 a.m., you would want to be a buyer. We're going to not see for the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have support on the flow side, but for the next 7 days, maybe 7 to 10 days, we do not want to trade shorter duration. Uh, we came out on 10:30. This was the end of last month, and mentioned that in the next week or so, as later in that video, that we want to get positioned. Let me move this back over here. We want to get positioned in the next 7 to 10 trading days. It was the 6th when we started buying. I had posted last Thursday. We actually bought some BTC related earlier in the week, but we had done some spreads earlier in the week, but overall I didn't really back the truck up on anything until Thursday or Friday of last week. You are seeing the reflexive nature of markets. We went from 6,600s within a 24-hour trading period. We had the weekend, but between Friday session and Monday session, we traded 210 points higher. That is so depictive of what I was speaking about in that video. It is a beach ball underwater. When we get weakness, it's an absolute gift. We know that it can't sustain without an actual liquidity impacting event. You need an event that truly is going to shake everything up, that is, a true canary in the coal mine that you never bet on, to null what is going to consistently be reflexive weakness through the end of year, likely early Q1. Ideally, all 10 people that watched that video update got positioned on that move. It's so quick, and I know the people will tell you, don't try to catch a falling knife, don't try to get a top or bottom. We're not at a top, and that was another main point of that video, that if we get a pullback, you just want to be a buyer. Like, even if you don't have the research or aren't able to view option positioning or are using unsophisticated tools, just buy when it's red for this paradigm for the next couple months until we get to the inevitable higher levels. We need to get to at least 7,200, and that's on the really light side of things. I think that's like when I said I expected us to get 5,900 when I had targets into 6,600. Like that's on that type of disparity between what my minimum is and where I expect that minimum and ideal target get as time and positioning progresses and gets rolled up. I do suspect we get over 7,200, but that is where I'm trading for. I'm trading with that expectation for that spot at the moment. I actually I was waiting till Monday to get my index. I haven't had a chance to get long indexes probably since low 5,000s. Like 5,500 was my last large index trade on a swing frame. I've had a couple, but we had a China deal come out right after, and I traded it. Like the index opportunities on a swing frame are very few in between where you really get those back the truck up long opportunities. But we are trading Nvidia, Coin, GLD, and bringing back my favorite Ponzi, Carvana, CVNA. Been trading Carvana since about $32 in 2023. My worst trade with that was doing anything with it. I could have just held long and been sitting here pretty good. But I'm not the best trader in the world, and I sold it for like 10x on the options. Would have probably went a lot higher, but in any case, where we're at right now, it's a very binary path in the near term. We're going to get sharp upside or sharp downside, and that is a tradable read. Um, I expected to get to 6850. I posted that on Monday. I reiterated that today. Uh, I do expect from this area, like 6840, 6850, I do lean we get some sort of pause or pullback into ideally 6725 to 6735. Below there, it's going to really repel price unless we have a stark change in the open book and we see volatility expansion into downside, which I do not expect to see. That would take some news that does not exist right now that is liquidity impacting or panic. And if it does happen and it's the same read I'm looking at here, it's probably going to be an amazing buying opportunity. Overall, we either have the low, which is my lean, or we have a complex pullback, and we're going to have one more move to the downside in the next, ideally, I would say 3 sessions. I wouldn't expect anything below those lows that we saw on Friday if we get through the next 3 sessions without touching them. This is the last few days before this window closes, and we should expect just basically upside or maybe intraday downside like we had today, but it's going to be reflexive. It's going to come back up. This move is just kicking off, this next move. And we got, in the video I mentioned, we needed a release valve on the pent up energy, the steam. We got the release valve. That was perfect. That was exactly what I wanted to see. Possibly like Bitcoin and Nvidia, I didn't get the little bow on top for what I like to see at lows, but a lot of the times you don't get it across the board. Would love to see new lows marginal for coin and Nvidia. I'd love to see new lows overall. Like if we're saying this is such a great deal when it's red and we have to go higher, the final destination has to be upside. I would love price to go lower. I love good deals. I want good deals to get better. I would love to see that pull back into 6725, 35. I would reload on any. I did trim some into 6850 on my core holdings, specifically BTC related. We sold it. I saw my coin comment at the open today. I will reload that in the next 3 sessions. My largest holding is and will remain to be GLD. GLD is the only investable asset here for years out. Like I will be holding GLD for the foreseeable future. There's nothing else I'm holding right now that I expect to be holding in 2-3 years. Nothing else I would be investing in besides precious metals, commodities. I'm only in GLD in terms of commodities. I will have energy on, probably that's a topic for the 2026 roadmap. We'll get into that in a couple months. Hopefully you are one of the 10 people that watched my last video, and if you weren't, understand that there will be, just take advantage, don't freak out if we have sharp downside. Take advantage of those opportunities. It will, the final destination, which is what we always want to focus on, with time, and that time isn't going to take as long as you probably think. It took 1 day to get almost back to the all-time highs. In 2-3 days, we could be above them. Ideally, 2-3 days, we get that pullback, and then 3-4 days, we're back to the highs. The pullback could happen intraday and be back up by the close. I understand how reflexive the flows are right now. Positioning is a beach ball underneath water. You're seeing that real time with the move from Friday to Monday. Just make sure you take advantage of weakness. If things don't happen by around noon, expect buyback. All last week, I also had mentioned in that video that you don't want to play shorter duration. All last week, every single move happened besides the Friday move. Every other move happened overnight. There was no volatility intraday. Absolutely no volatility. It was actually pretty easy to trade, all things considered. But you had to just focus on 4 p.m. and the first out, and wait till we got those larger downside moves on Thursday, Friday, and just go through your plan. Hopefully, you have a plan. Uh, have some expectation or plan of what to do for every scenario. And weakness hopefully triggered a shopping list, pulling out a shopping list, and those were some great deals. I mean, we saw Nvidia go from 180, 178 to 200 in a session essentially. Hopefully, I don't have any more updates either. But if there is anything, this is a dynamic surface, everything's moving dynamically. I'll make sure to try to at least post it if we do see, the expectation that we'd get below 6,700 on a pullback, which is not the lean here. And if we sustain over 6,850 in the near term, maybe they reopen the government, maybe there's some stimulus that comes out, maybe expectation for rate cuts is increased, whatever the case may be. If it sustains over 6,850, we're going to get pulled, we're going to press higher. There's going to be, if we get about 25 points, 68.75, and we're sustaining, we're not just taking a peak and going back down, we're going to end up getting into the gravitational pull of these higher areas in the market and suck toward 69.50, 7,000, and then be on a pretty straight shot to those higher targets into 7,200 by end of year. I think we can get a lot higher, but we shall see. Wait to see how positioning gets rolled up, how things dynamically change, but in most cases I'd say this can go well over 7,200. All right, guys, hopefully you made out well in the last move, and talk soon.